Today, we're going to talk about something super important, but maybe a little confusing: India's labor laws. Think of them as this huge safety net that's been built up over the years to protect you at work. It's a bit of a maze, so let's try and make sense of it all together. So let's start with a really direct question. You get hurt at work. What happens then? Who pays the bills? Do you just have to hope your employer is a good person? Or is it just tough luck? Well, the good news is it's neither of those. It's not about luck, and it's definitely not just about goodwill. There's a whole system in place, a safety net built piece by piece, law by law, over the last 100 years or so, and it's designed specifically to catch you when things go wrong, giving you the financial and medical help you need.
Okay, so let's dive into that safety net, starting with the very first layer. This is the part that kicks in during that immediate crisis, a workplace injury.
And you can really see how much things have changed. I mean, look at this. Before 1923, if you got hurt, you were pretty much on your own. There was almost zero legal protection. But then 1923 happens, and we get the Employees' Compensation Act. This was a total game changer. For the first time ever, it created a formal legal right to get compensation if you were injured, disabled, or worse on the job. This was literally the first thread woven into our modern safety net. And what's really cool is how forward-thinking this law was. It wasn't just about, say, falling off a ladder or a machine accident. It also brought in this idea of an occupational disease. What does that mean? It means illnesses that you might get slowly over time, just because of the kind of work you do. The act said, hey, employers are responsible for that stuff too. Those slow burn risks, they count. Okay, so a one-time payment for an accident is a huge step, right? But what about your general ongoing health? What if you just get sick? That brings us to the next, much broader layer of protection in our safety net. And you can see the evolution so clearly when you put these two side by side. We started with the Compensation Act, which was mainly about that one-time lump sum payment for a specific injury. But then came the Employees' State Insurance Act, or ESI. And this was a massive leap. Instead of a single payout, the ESI created a proper insurance system. It's funded by both you and your employer, and it gives you continuous medical care for all sorts of things, not just work accidents. And when I say it's broader, I mean it covers a lot. We're talking benefits for when you're sick, general medical care, super important maternity benefits, and ongoing support if you're disabled. It even helps out your family, your dependents, which makes the safety net so much stronger and wider. And this whole idea, this shift towards protecting not just the worker, but their family too, it didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It was part of a bigger national push for health security happening at the time. You had things like the Central Government Health Scheme starting up in 1954. The message was pretty clear. Let's build a system of continuous care that looks after people in the long run. So we've got you covered for accidents. We've got you covered for general health. But what about way down the road? After you've hung up your work boots for good. What about retirement? Well, that brings us to the final and maybe one of the most crucial layers of this whole safety net. And that's where the Employees' Provident Fund, or EPF, comes in. This was set up way back in 1952. The easiest way to think about it is like a mandatory savings account for your retirement. It's a system where both you and your employer put money away month after month to build up this big financial cushion for your future. And the reason it works so well is because of how it grows. Look, you put in a piece of your salary, but here's the magic. You're not saving all by yourself. Your employer has to match your contribution. And on top of that, the whole pot of money earns government-approved interest. So it's like a three-way partnership. You, your boss, and the government, all working together to build your retirement fund.
But wait, there's more. The EPF isn't just a savings plan. A portion of your employer's contribution actually goes into a pension scheme, so you get a regular income after you retire. And it also includes something called the Employees' Deposit-Linked Insurance Scheme. That's basically a life insurance policy, providing a safety net for your family if something were to happen to you while you're still working.
All right, that was a lot to take in, I know. We've talked about the Compensation Act for injuries, the ESI Act for health, and the EPF Act for your future. So let's pull all these threads together and see what the whole safety net looks like in one simple snapshot. Think of this as your cheat sheet. It makes it super simple. If you get injured at work, you've got the Compensation Act or the ESI. Just feeling sick in general, that's what the Employees' State Insurance Act is for.
Planning for retirement, that's all about the employee's provident fund. And in the worst-case scenario, insurance schemes in both the EPF and ESI provide a safety net for your family. So you see, the main takeaway here is that these aren't just three random separate laws. They're designed to work together. They're interlocking pieces of one big system. From your very first day on the job all the way through to your retirement years, this safety net is there to provide security. So there you have it. This whole safety net exists, and it's there for you. Just knowing about it, knowing your rights, that's the first and most powerful step you can take. So the real question to leave you with is, now that you know it's there, are you prepared to make sure it works for you?